Welcome to another exciting episode of the Million Dollar Peddlers. I'm Paper Guy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
And today we are going to talk about voice changes.
Oh, wow.
We're also going to talk about opportunity costs. And that is probably one of the least understood concepts out there. And I know when I was in college, economics class, they actually did teach opportunity cost. And I could not grasp it for all the life. Do you know what it is?
Well, I'm assuming it's something where I'm selling so many of these items and I'm paying so much and I'm getting this much back, but I'm also could be selling something else instead that may be making more money.
Yep, opportunity costs are as far as money spent, time spent, anything at all like that, that there is a cost. And I'll give the perfect example. You sell a lot of magazines. Mm-hmm. Would you have fewer refunds? Could you charge a higher price? And would you have fewer problems if you had your lister go through every single magazine page by page?
Absolutely, yes.
If you were able to put pictures up more than 12 and you put up 40 pictures of every magazine and you listed every single advertisement in that magazine in the listing,
Yep.
would you be able to get a higher price out of it?
I would hope to get $100 per magazine because that's about the cost it's going to be into everyone. But yes, absolutely.
And you just hit on why you don't do that. If I sat there and I worked for you and I did the perfect listing and I had 120 pictures up on June 9th, 1998 Time Magazine, picture of the corner, picture of the every page, picture listed every single advertisement, listed every single thing in there, it'd be the greatest Time Magazine listing you have ever seen.
Basically a digital copy.
Basically, yeah, it would be. How many items could I list an hour?
One.
Exactly. And that, in a nutshell, is opportunity costs. And you need to take a look at your opportunity cost. What could I be doing with this time?
Right.
What could I be doing with this money? And yet so few people think about that.
Yeah.
If I sat there, let me ask another question. Mm-hmm. If I were to name a town around here. Fairport. If I were to drive to Fairport, New York, and go, assuming there aren't village statutes against this, and I went door to door and knocked on the door and said, "Hi, I've got a pocket full of money and I'd like to take a look in your attic and buy stuff," would I end up getting some deals?
Sure.
Would I get the cops called on me? Yes, I would get that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I would get deals. Why don't I do that?
Well, to go through every house, you might get one deal out of every 30, 40 houses. So you're wasting a lot of time there.
And even then, it might not even be a great deal. I might go up there and I buy one book for $1 that I can sell for $10.
Yeah.
The opportunity cost of my time, I could do so much more with the time. I don't actually need to do that.
Right.
And so on. And
I got a great example when
go
you're
ahead.
done.
No,
So,
go ahead.
I got a gentleman that's been selling me high-end sports cards, out of breaks, like $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 of cards. We come up with a price, that's fair, 40, 50, 60%, whatever it is. But the problem is he gives us hundreds of cards, and he wants to get the prices on them. Well, now I'm paying my employee to run comps. When we first started doing this, it took him an hour, hour and a half. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Let's break them down into, we know these are dollar cards. We know these are around 5. These are around 10. Now here's the juice. Let's do comps on that. But even if that's 30 minutes and I'm paying him $15 an hour, I'm spending $8 for his time. But in that 30 minutes, he could be listing $1,000 in listings. So that's where, I got to weigh it down and tell the guy, this isn't worth it, honestly, what it comes down to. We're not selling them fast enough. He could be doing something better that's already paid, selling something that's already paid for. So to me, that's a perfect example.
Well, and actually, you were talking about cards. That's actually what motivated this today's topic.
Yeah.
You were talking about, you were running some numbers as far as card purchases during the year.
Yeah.
If you don't mind sharing them and your thoughts on it.
I mean, I'm guessing I spent $200,000 to $250,000 between card collections of single cards and the boxes and blasters and all that. And breaking it down, our sales were way better, but do we make more profit? You know, I mean, because it's more of those things where I'm making $5-10 a box, but I'm paying $40 or $50 for the box, so my profit margin's shrinking on that. You know, and what isn't selling? What have I bought that hasn't sold out of all that? Especially single cards. You know, with eBay, if I'm spending, you know, $5,000 on a $10,000 single card collection, and they're all high-end single cards, a lot of them aren't selling. And if they are selling, they're not selling for full price. So I'm paying 50% of full price. A lot of them aren't selling, and those that are selling might only be going for 70-80%. Or what am I making at that point after fees? 10%. So I think there's a better way of spending my money if needed.
Do you want me to make you cry right now on air?
Sure.
Do you know what you could buy with $200,000?
Another warehouse.
Hey, you exactly picked what I was going to say.
But then I had no cards to put in there.
Oh, well, good.
I had no card boxes,
so you're putting the horse before the cart and getting all the cards, yes?
Yeah,
Because you can't find the cards at another day.
Exactly.
Exactly. And I think that one big error that a lot of us make, and I definitely do make this as well. Now, I've got the excuse, and it's an excuse, and I've got the day job, so I don't rely on this money to feed random neighborhood kid or anything like that. But we don't look at the opportunity cost of our own time. Now, whether it's that we're doing things that we enjoy, and so it's about more than the money or our time, et cetera, I don't know. And often I will, end up with a pile of magazines and end up reading Wikipedia articles about the things in the magazines because I want to find out about them. I have the luxury of being able to do that. Now, certainly you can't have your employees do it.
Right.
But you get down into that as well, that you probably, and we've talked about this on the live show also, where sometimes you're better off hiring somebody to do things like cleaning up the garbage and all that than you doing it because your time is more valuable than that. But you don't think about it that way necessarily. You think, it's not a big deal. I can spend 5 minutes doing this. Well, that's 5 minutes of your executive salary that you're spending throwing garbage out, which is an entry-level job. And we don't think about these things. But if you spend 2022 focusing on opportunity costs and wrapping your head around it, you'll find out that at the end of the year, you'll have been so much more profitable. Because another big place to think about it is, what do you have just piles of? What do you call your piles? Scared piles.
There's lots of those.
And for people
and they're paid for. That's the beauty of it. I don't have to buy more scared piles. They're paid for. So if I stop buying sports cards or Pokemon cards or something I'm not making a lot of money on, maybe we can get at some of those scared piles and start shrinking our inventory, our excessive inventory, instead of spending money on new stuff that's small return.
Well, to anybody new to the channel, why don't you explain what scared pile is?
And every one of my listers has always had one over the years. It's something they get that could be oversized, could be fragile, could be very hard to list because they have to do a lot of pictures and very long descriptions.
Or a lot of research.
Right, yeah. So things that take more time that, and there's no experts on these things, so they're like just setting it aside. It's too much work, too much trouble. They want the quick. I have one employee, he loves Hot Wheels, he loves ornaments, anything you can scan on Amazon. But I try and tell him, I go, we're not just one-dimensional. It's great to get that on one day, but you can't spend a whole week doing $5 and $10 quick, easy items. We got to get these lots on. We got to do this, do that. So the scared stuff definitely is most of the time it's higher dollar stuff too. It's worth more. It's just more time, and people don't have the knowledge.
Yep. And so if in 2022 you look at opportunity costs, and scared piles are definitely an opportunity cost. I call them projects. And for years, I have been trying to stay away from projects.
Right.
This is going to be the year that I take on no new projects. Or not. Yeah. But definitely that's what it comes down to, is if you can work your opportunity costs into it. And there's nothing wrong with a scared pile or a project if the return is high enough on it and you force yourself to list it.
Right.
In other words, if I go out and I don't like doing certain things, but if I sit there and I look at it and I go, geez, I don't know. Like I'll give a perfect example. I was in an estate sale the other day, and they had prices. They had $850 on a Salvador Dali print. It was either, I couldn't tell the price, it was either $1,500 or $7,500. I don't know which one, by something from CZUR. and so on. If I walked in and they said to me, look, we priced these things up off of comps, et cetera, Dave, we just want to shut the sale down. We're sick of this. Give us 15% on them. Well, that's such a return on investment that I have to do that. But the positive of that is I would have so much money put into it because they actually went and nationally featured this estate sale, which means these had to be top level things.
Sure.
So say they added it all up and they said there's $100,000 of artwork here. We priced them comped. Give us $15,000. Well, that's a fine project to get into because $15,000 is enough of an outlay that I am going to learn it and get it listed.
Yeah.
What ends up killing you is geez, this stuff's worth a couple $100 and it's only $15 and you buy it.
Right.
You might as well what was your father's famous quote about buying things you don't need?
Oh, just throw your money on the shelf.
I might as well just put my money on the shelf because I'm never going to list it. And that's absolutely true. So let us have that as one of our goals for 2022. All of us, don't just buy something because it's a good deal if you aren't going to list it. Because think of the opportunity costs. You've got the space where you can't put other things in.
Right.
When you finally do list it, obviously there's a reason you're not running out and listing it in the first place.
Yep.
It's got some level of difficulty to it. And you're also putting the money on the shelf. You're spending the money on something other that you're not going to get to anytime soon.
Right.
And you know that going in.
Yeah.
So view opportunity costs, and the quicker that you get ahead of them and understand them, and you use your time better, you use your money better, you use your space better, the better off you'll be. And here's to a profitable 2022. Hit the like button, and we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.